DBSCG things.
What's up, Yuhp gang? It's your boy Taxon, and welcome back to Yuhp DBSCG Things. And today we're diving into another very exciting deck profile, guys. This is going to be a deck that took 2-1 at our last locals. This is Pan. But before we get into it, guys, I do want to say if you guys are any custom mats and or sleeves, absolutely check out Promats, guys. This is the best place to go get your custom card needs. And if you guys do decide to get a mat from them, make sure you guys use the promo code Yuhp to save on your entire order. With that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this list or my content in general, remember to hit all those buttons for me, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And with that being said, we will see you guys in the video.
Alrighty, you guys, here we are with the Pan profile, going 2-1 at our locals today, going absolutely crazy and doing some spicy tech that I thought would be really sweet to get on the camera. So go ahead and show us about your deck today, and then talk about your matchups.
Alright, so this is the reboot pan. I'm sure most people by now know what this does. Once per turn on the front side, if you play a battle card, gains 5k, then if it becomes 20k, you draw a card. So this is very classic. This is reboot of a set 3 leader. One of my personal favorites from the game. I was a hardcore pan player for 4 or 5 sets in a row up until she became power crept, which took a while, so love her. The reboot version, she has 2 weaken conditions now. She awakens at 4 or less, or if you have 3Z energy, draws a card, and restains energy, then you go down to 6 life. So pretty standard for today's card game. And on the front side, she has the same auto. You play a battle card, give it +5, it gains 20 or more, you draw a card. And then once per turn, activate main, you can give one of your Z battle cards +5k power, which I forgot to use quite a bit today, actually. I almost forgot that auto even existed. I threw this deck together like 3 days ago. It's the same thing I do with every other deck. I'm not a very good deck builder in all honesty. But as I said, she is one of my favorite leaders in this game entirely, so of course I had to put the reboot one together. So very fun. Going with Pan, I chose some of the stuff out of the structure deck. This card is really good. This card helps you self-awaken, basically using the alternate awakening condition. If you have 2 or more energy, you play this card for 1 energy, then you burst 2. Obviously, you're looking for red Saiyans when you do this. When he attacks, you can combo with 1 amount of red Saiyan from your drop area, and then limit 1. So basically, once per turn, you can pay 1 energy, draw a card, give himself 5k power, and then draw another card, so he'll restand himself. So it's effectively dual attack. And then his auto, where he combos with a card, is not once per turn. So effectively, you're getting 2 combos if you have the Saiyans in your drop area. Even if you only hit 1 Saiyan, you just combo with it, make sure it goes back to the drop area, and then when you do your second swing, just make sure that gets Z charge. So clutch card. Even if you're running the older Pan leader, which I hear some people are preferring, which I see the logic, the awakening 2 energy versus 1 energy. I can see why people would like that better, but it's still good. Helps you charge your cards. He is Pan specific. He's also got deflect. I don't think I mentioned that. But if I can see him on my turn 2, he's awesome. He's great. Love to see it. So definitely. Yep. He can go all the way up to 30k because, of course, as soon as you play him, you'll get your 5k boost, and then you'll draw a card. He'll swing twice, get his 5k, and then a combo, and then yep. So just very good. Any Pan leader with this card.
Especially early game. If you go first and that comes out turn 2 to your opponent's 1 energy, 30k dual attack is massive.
Huge. So this is an inset card. This card also built for Pan. When you combo with this card, if your opponent has 2 or more energy, it will play itself. More often than not, I'll play this on my opponent's turn, because if it plays, they'll get the +5k power, and then it'll draw you a card. And then, it's a 5k combo, and then usually I will play it so I can guarantee my draw. And then if my opponent swings again, I can combo it off again to make sure it goes into my Z energy. Honestly, either way, defensive, offensive, it really doesn't matter. It is a really good card. Its only condition is your opponent has to be at 2 or more energy. So if my opponent goes first, I try to start with this. If I go first, I'll try to start with this. So really good card either way. Its other 2 autos are, if it's placed underneath a very specific, we'll just talk about it now, just to get it out of the way. This specific Z SS4 Goku, when this card is placed underneath this one, it will gain +5k power, and then it will also give it the auto for that turn when it swings, which this card is swinging up to twice per turn if you use its activate main. It will minus one of your opponent's battle cards by 25k. So When this card is played, it will choose one of your Saiyans in your drop area and place it underneath. Obviously, if this is available, you choose this every single time. When this card has got double strike, deflect, and then it'll gain barrier for the turn, and then if your opponent has 4 more life, it'll deal damage, 1 damage specifically, so that's really good. Then activate main, you can pay 1 energy to get this card dual attack, and then plus 5k if this card specifically is underneath it. So dual attack, this card, if you play it on the turn where your leader card will give it plus 5k power, you'll get 5k from that, 5k from the leader, you'll draw a card, and then swing, this card will also give it another 5k power, so you're swinging with a double strike, dual attack, 35k battle card that can also hit 2 battle cards on your opponent's board, which when I fit kills a lot of skills. Holy crap, I am. So, pretty insane. So, even if you don't go with that combo though, like I said, offensively or defensively, combo with this card, it'll play, draw a card, or play it, put it in your Z energy. Either way, it's good. 4 of, no matter what, in any pan deck. Since I'm running a decent handful of Goku GT cards, I'm running this classic set 3 card. This is strictly a search top 7 for a Goku GT, so it can search for literally any of these. So very solid card to play. If I don't see either one of those cards, this is usually my turn 1 play. I'll play it turn 1, search route if I find my cards, and then usually when my opponent swings at me, I'll combo it off for my Z energy. So not much else to say there. That's pretty much all it's there for, is to find my really good GT Goku pieces. And 7 deep is pretty good since they don't really do that anymore. Usually it's 5 deep now. This card also basically built for Pan. It's a rare inset. This card is also a good turn 1 play, even if you can't swing with it. So you play this card. If your leader is a Pan, its energy cost is reduced down to 1. So it is a automatic turn 1 play if you got it. If you swing with it and its power is at 20k or more, you search top 5 for a Saiyan, Red Saiyan, energy cost 5 or less, or a Unison, energy cost 3 specifically, which I don't run any, so it's strictly just for searching Saiyans, but I don't think there's a single card in my deck that it can't hurt, so I basically hit off this almost every single time. Super combos everything. So turn 1, if I don't have anything else to play, you can play this. You'll still be able to get your draw off of it. You won't be able to get the search CL, obviously, but that kind of sucks. But I mean, if you're going second, it's also another really good turn 2 play, so you're plussing off of it automatically. Play it, get your draw, swing with it. You're getting another card in hand, just straight plussing. So again, another card. If you're doing pan of any kind, 4 of. It's a phenomenal card. And then we're going with generic red, good, staples. This deck, obviously, you're going to go for your 3Z energy because that is your leader's awakening condition. So more often than not, you're going to get to your 3Z energy, especially if you start off with 4-drop combo card. This boy right here. So I mean, turn 2, turn 3, this guy is live, and then obviously if you want to push a little bit harder, you want to combo with more cards to make him live, you can do that as well. It definitely doesn't hurt you in any way, so definitely good to have. But for those who aren't familiar, he's a double strike blocker, unique for each Z card you have or Z cost on a battle card or Z leader card. His cost is reduced, which is insane. This card is probably one of the most broken cards that Red has, if not the most broken card that Red has at this point. It's just insane. He'll come out for, he's got 1 specified cost, so you can basically play him for 1 energy if you've got the cost for it. He's also a counterplay, so you can do it on your opponent's turn. Stupidly good with this leader because you play him on your turn, and then he'll play, get the +5, draw a card. He's a 25k blocker that also next when your opponent's battle cards by 20k, which is just insane. So basically, play him on your opponent's turn, he replaces himself. Stupid. There's nothing bad about this card.
I was about to say, it's a fantastic offensive pressure piece, it's a fantastic counterplay, it's a fantastic blocker. It draws cards no matter what turn you play it on. It's very good.
It does everything.
Very good. I agree. That card is probably one of Red's best cards.
So then, looks like my cards got a little mixed up here. Going into my super combo, I chose Raditz. I'm having a hard time deciding whether or not I want to keep Raditz or if I want to do the Dr. Gero red super combo, only because you have to be at 4 or less life in order to use this super combo. I'm sure everyone by now knows what this does. If your life is at 4 or less, all your energy is but red. Combo with it, Bottom deck 1, draw 2. Pretty basic. The Jiro super combo is if you have 2 Z energy, Z battle card, or a Z leader, you just draw 1. I'm finding that more often than not, I have enough Z energy to make sure that my Z card, make sure I have that Z condition. You only need 2 Z energy. So there's a decent chance I might switch it back over to the Jiro, just because I feel like I'm going to have that super combo live more often, because you only go down to 6 life when you awaken. So if you're going on the offensive and you stay at 6 life, this card's basically useless.
Jiro works off the cost of Z cards in play as well, doesn't it?
I don't think it does, but it doesn't really matter because the Jiro also actually have a copy of the Jiros with me.
You just have to have a Z card.
You just have to have a Z battle card in play, or have the 2 Z energy or a Z leader. So either way, if you're say if you're going for game with this card, it's gonna be live. If you've got 2 Z energy, it's live. So I do think that this is the better super combo for the deck. But I wasn't sure. This card's good too, so I figured I'd give it a shot, see how it works. But I'm definitely gonna go back to Jiro. I think. I just think it's generically better. Moving into battle cards, got the bling here. I'm very proud of this card. Pretty old staple for Pan in general. Play it. You won't get the draw off it, unfortunately. You only get the 5k power, and it'll be at 10k. But you swing with it, take a life, you get critical for the turn, and plus 10k power. So it is a 20k critical, taking a life to help self-awaken card that is really, really good. The primary reason, though, I run this card also is for this spicy combo that Taxon here was talking about. The dominant reason why he wanted me to premiere this deck. And this is a old combo that I really, really love from way back in the day. OG Pan players know this combo very well. Chain Attack Zeno. My all-time favorite. I don't care if it works or not. I do it just to do it. It is just a big F you. It can F yourself, keep something in mind. But probably the number one reason why I put this deck back together with the Trunks Unison counterplay gone. This combo is live again very, very easily. There are still a couple cards in the game that can still prevent you from playing this, but it's still a pretty small number, and if you can get it off and if you can do your combinations right, this is huge. Most battle cards nowadays come out with 1 or 2 energy very easily. Most of the cards in my deck at this point only come out for 1 or 2 energy. So if you can do it properly, you play this out, your opponent's only got 5 cards in hand, you've got some energy to play with on your turn 4, turn 5. There's a high chance you can either cripple them severely or just straight up go for game. Either way. I mean, it does what it's meant to do. It is phenomenal. I love it. And yeah, this is going to be staying for a while. So yeah, well, I might as well go into it just in case people aren't familiar. So I play this because he's EX evolves over him for 2 energy. So worst case scenario, if you have to do it out for 3 energy, you can. I do have another card. I play the SS4 Gogeta Unison just so I can +2 play this out, and then I only have to pay 2 energy for the evolve, and then play this card. Going to the explanation, I should go with, explaining what this card does, for those of you who don't know. When this Zeno is played, you shuffle, it negates the skills of all cards on board, all your battle cards. So then it will negate all the skills, so I mean, indestructible, barrier, doesn't matter, it doesn't choose, it literally negates all of it. So it will play this card, and then it will send all of those cards and all cards in both players' hands to the deck. Both players shuffle, both players draw 5 cards, and you basically start over. So it only hits battle cards, it does not touch unisons, it does not touch field cards, it's only hand and battle cards, so there's something to keep in mind. But I mean, you'll play that out, and then you will, it's a hard reset basically. Only downside to it is you're doing it in your turn, and then if you do it and you don't have more plays to do, then it can be a little energy consuming, but it's just something to keep in mind. But I mean, as I said, it is OG, it's fun, I love it, I will keep it in here as long as I can until it becomes relevant again.
The cool thing about the Trunks too is I just now realized every other battle card in your deck is a 15k or less.
That's also true.
So if you don't want to do Zeno, you could just as easily go chain attack and then go into your dual attack SS4. You could go chain attack, go into your pan, so on and so forth. Like every other card that you showed so far is a 15k or less. So.
That is also true. I have to go a different route. Like if I don't want to chain attack Zeno because it's not going to benefit me in any way, shape, or form, you're absolutely right. I can't do that. Probably should have mentioned that earlier too, but I mean...
Honestly, I didn't know. I had to go look at your other cards to see if that was a thing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing. More often than not, yeah. But more often than not, this is the play I'm usually going to do. Just because we're heading more into a control format, I think. Majin Vegeta is definitely making its comeback. We had one here at Locals today. I lost to it. It was my only loss. So that is definitely something I am going to have to keep in mind. And then other control decks are probably going to start popping up now that Red's taking its hit. So... Again, crazy. Also, fun fact, since this does not hit unisons with this one specifically, because this one has its -4 ability, activate battle, you can -4 counters in order to give a double strike in 30k, or plus 15, so make it 30k, so that's really, really cool. So even when you reset everything, this is still out, you got enough markers on it, it helps with your finishing power, which it did help me against one of my matchups today. So.
Yeah, actually, I think I watched you close a game with that attack.
Yep, it is definitely really good. But again, OG combo, I love it to death. Even if I don't think I can win, if I think I'm just going to lose, I'm going to do it anyway just because it's fun. Just because I like chaos. Going into extra cards, I meant to run 2 of this. I only put 1 in here, so that is actually an accident. I am definitely going to max that out at 2. We got Testing the Opposition. Pretty much everyone knows what this does at this point. Fiberless Life, activate it for free. Gives you a counter and then a blocker token, so pretty good. I do 3 of the After Images. Old School Negate. You load your drop area decently fast in this deck just because of the bursting from the other card. And then as soon as you do chain tags, I don't know if there's any cards underneath anybody, because when you do evolve over this Trunks when you do this, and then as soon as you do that, this card load drop area, so your drop area gets pretty heavy very quickly, plus Self-Awakening, because as I said, you gotta go down to 4 life for my super combos, which is part of the reason why I'm gonna switch it out. Small chance I might switch these out too for better negates. I don't know, we'll see. But and then the OG Red, Rattlesnake, Flood Negate, just really, really good. As I said, this one is going to go up by 1 at the very least. I may even go up to 3. I'm not sure yet, because this deck, if I didn't mention before, this deck filters quite a bit, just because I'm able to play battle cards on both my opponent's turn and my turn very easily, and this leader's skill is not turn specific. So literally every single turn, I'm pretty much drawing a card no matter what, as long as I see the right cards. So I am going through my deck pretty fast, almost every time. So seeing cards isn't really a problem here. If people are unaware of Beerus Ball, I play this for your robotic riposte, your boo pose. When this card is played, if you have 4 or less life, pay 1 energy, you can negate the play of a battle card, energy cost 15k or less, and then your leader will gain plus 5k power for the turn, which is really, really good. I also have to use it against Charismatic Villain Frieza, because that technically gets around Deflect. So I'm probably going to boost that up to a 3-up. I have it in 3-up in a lot of my other decks for that reason. And then King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, Flood Negate, activate the counter. The attacking card loses 10k power. It does not negate the attack, something to keep in mind. Ignoring barrier will minus it by 10k, and then for the rest of the turn, your opponent, if they attack with any cards, leaders and unisons included, they'll get minus 5k for the turn. And then for each attack, mind you, so if they got dual attack, that just keeps going. And then the neat little thing about it, if you're at 3 or less life, you can activate this card by discounting your card instead of paying its energy costs, which is really, really good. So obviously if you're running a mono red leader of any kind, or mono red Saiyan leader, because that is specific, chances are you're going to run this card too. And then my secret rare of choice, because it is the best red secret rare I own. I don't own a Vegeta, so before anyone says anything, Vegeta's better. Yes, I know, I don't own a Vegeta. But I'm going to be honest, I almost kind of like the secret rare better anyway, just because I feel like you get more long-term value out of him. When you play him, minimum 4, he negs your opponent's entire board by 25k, ignoring barriers, so it's effectively a board wipe. for the most part, so he hits pretty much everything. And then auto, when your opponent attacks with a battle card, they can choose it and then minus it by 25k, which is huge, so your opponent's going to have to play around this. And then his -4, activate main, you minus it before, he will gain plus 5k, 15k power, and triple strike, and he is also a dual attack blocker, so if they can't get rid of him, then he is a major threat, and he's kind of hard to get rid of with 25k and then blocker. I mean, there's so much value. Even if you play him for 4 energy, which sometimes I do, and he can't go for the -4, he's a dual attack blocker, so you can swing with him once for 25k, and then he'll go back, and then he'll restand, and he got blocker, 25k blocker. So, like I said, personal choice. I know people argue left and right that Vegeta is better, but I like him better. I think your long-term value out of him is better in the grand scheme of things, but interpretation. Then we'll go into the Z deck. It's pretty basic. I run 2 of this SS4 Goku we were talking about earlier just because he's my primary finisher. If you do the Chain Tech Zeno play at turn 5, and if you have to, let's say if you have to hard cast the 1-drop, then go into the 4-drop for 2, and then you have to play the Zeno that way, you still have 2 energy open to play this. So depending on your setup, there's a decent chance you can even go for game. Like if they're at 4 or more life, then you deal damage, and then you've got 1 energy left. Well, I guess at that point you have to go for the. You can't get the dual attack, unfortunately. But if you were able to play him for, like, let's say you had the Unison out, and then you're able to do the chain attack play for only 2 energy, then you'll have 3 energy when you play this in your turn 5, and then you go for the dual attack play. So, and your opponent only having 5 cards left in hand, you're either going to win or you're going to make them expend a bunch of cards, expend the only 5 cards they have in order to make sure they don't lose. Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, either way, it's a win-win. So I mean, it's phenomenal. And then yeah, as I spoke earlier, he's going to be, depending on the order of what you play things, he's going to be, because your leader skill is probably going to be used up at that point, so he's not going to get the 5k boost from that, but he'll still gain the 5k from the SS or from the ape that goes underneath them, and then his own skill. So he'll still be a 30k dual attack, double strike that's going to deal damage, and that's still phenomenal for 2 energy. Like this card does so much for the little energy it's required of it. So it is 3Z energy, but again, as long as you see your SS4 cards that can swing twice and charge Z energy, it really doesn't matter. And then another neat thing about Chain Tech Zeno, probably my favorite thing about it, is your hand size up until that point really doesn't matter all that much, because if you are comboing your cards left and right, and let's say you go down to only 3 cards in hand, you Chain Tech Zeno, it resets everything. So even if you have 3 cards in hand, your opponent has 20, you're both starting at 5. So if you got a combo heavy to get your Z energy up to make sure you can make your final play, then you can do that, and there's really no consequences. So, favorite thing about the Chain Tech Zeno play. And then basics. I basically feel like every deck in the game wants this card as like, hey, I need to dig for other cards. I am going to play this. I'm going to do 1 Z energy. You can bottom deck a card, draw a card, then take a life, and then for all 1 Z energy, which is good. And then he's another generic finisher, red finisher. Basically deflect. When he attacks, you can combo with another red card from your drop area. Activate main once per turn. If you have 4 or more Z energy, you can restand this card. He'll gain plus 10k power, double strike, and barrier. So he's just another generic red finisher that you're running a red deck, you're going to run this card. So,
Very strong card.
very much so.
With that being said, that was your deck profile. Do you want to talk about any of your matchups?
So my first matchup was against Blue Kaba, the Unison version, or the Arrival version, more or less. That card, literally, that matchup came down to, I Chain Tech Zeno, of course. It was blue, so of course it was an uphill battle because blue is just defensive as all hell. And then it literally came down to, he played 3 blockers on his following turn. I had to go for my big play, hit 2 of his blockers, kill the last one, and then I actually had to use my Unison to win that game because he was exhausting all my resources. It literally came down to if he, very much so. The -4 won me that game. My second game was, unfortunately, against Majin Vegeta, which that one was streamed, so you get to see that. It was a really, really close game. I Chain Tag Zeno'd that game, of course, and it came down to minimal combo power. He ended up seeing what he needed to see in order to finish. And of course, that's kind of an uphill battle for me because I've got no way of dealing with his leader skill, which of course he ended up using. So it came down to he saw his bigger cards and I didn't, so there was nothing I could do there. But it was a fun game, really close match. And then my final game was against Token Toa. We have a player here that loves the Demon Realm race cards, and they're getting some decent support next set, so he's sporting that for a while. And unfortunately, it just came down to I saw all my aggro early game. I didn't even need to chain tag Zeno. I had the perfect start. I started with all my SS4s. I started with all my aggro cards. I started with everything I needed, and I just ran him over. So, and unfortunately, no fault of the decks. That deck doesn't really start getting going until like turn 3 because you have to see your Unison, and it just, yeah, it was a flood out.
And it doesn't even draw until it sees the Unison and awakens.
Yep, and then by that point it was already too late. I had already aggroed him down to like 4 life, and that was with him spending multiple of his cards in order to keep me from killing him. So, it is what it is.
Alrighty, so with that being said, that was your deck profile. Do you have any final shoutouts?
Well, shout out to Yuhp Games as usual. Love coming out here every Sunday and playing. Love doing these deck profiles, even though I suck at them because I don't have very much charisma as a person. But you didn't see that. Yeah, nope. Love coming out. Love doing these deck provos. Love playing a little bit of meta, a little bit of jank, a little bit of everything. So.
Alrighty. With that being said, guys, that was the profile. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys show us some love in the comment section and definitely smash that like button. We will see you guys next time.